see what kind of crowd I got here. And nervous. Jeremy Corbyn? Woo!
That's our guy.
Now I know what I'm dealing with. Okay.
Take a seat on my sofa. It's nice, isn't it? It's cool, it's air cool.
Yeah, fantastic.
How old's this little lady here?
I thought we had a long conversation at the table.
I'm just going to gauge the room. How old are you? You see, because you're the youngest in here, you have to tell me the naughtiest word we can use. Did you say we? Twee. We're not allowed any naughty words. She's too shy. You sold me out there. You sold me out. Michael, welcome to ComicCon Ghent. Come on, guys, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? Look at this. Already, a man who's done this many times. I'm confident to sit there. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
So we're going to talk a lot about Renaissance art, things like that.
Yeah.
Being Comic-Con, they definitely don't want to hear about any particular films here. No fans here of Aliens, anyone? Woo! Definitely none of that. Definitely Terminator? Woo! Yeah, there you go. They must be the two big ones for Comic-Con. They're the ones you always get the questions for?
Back in the States, I get asked a lot about a movie I did called Tombstone, which is a Western, which, you know, Westerns don't play that well overseas.
I love Tombstone.
Yeah, well, Tombstone's a great movie, it's got a great cast, and, you know, a few others, The Abyss, The Rock, you know, I've been doing it for 40 years, and, so I have a lot of credits, but mostly, the most popular movie I've ever been in is Aliens.
Is that the one that everyone comes back to?
Well, yeah, and you know, through generations, we just had our, I think, 25th year or 35th year, whatever, anniversary, and you know, Sigourney was there, everybody was there, everybody. Just recently, we lost Bill Paxton, passed away, so there won't be any more reunions, but Bill and I did 5 movies together.
You were in 4 James Camerons together, is it?
No, well, I did 3 James Cameron movies. I did Terminator and Aliens, I did The Abyss, and then I did a little tiny part in
Judgment Day.
Judgment Day, but it was too long, you had to cut it out and put it back in, you know, in the director's cut.
So they cut, so I always watch. So, like, with obviously Aliens, you knew, like, that was going to be a big film after Alien.
You never really know what is going to be what. And first of all, I had done the Terminator with Jim and Gail Hurd, who produced it. And that was very well received, of course. But the interesting thing about the Terminator, everybody thinks like, oh, the Terminator made like, you know, it's like this big, huge hit or whatever. Back when we made that movie in the year 1984 when it came out, it was not in the top 20 money makers of that year. Most people, I think, saw it on their VHS, and it wasn't really until T2 came out and they started getting all the Academy Award nominations. But, so, anyway.
I mean, with Terminator, definitely.
Terminator, the thing about Aliens is that, like, I did the Terminator, and that was really good, and everybody loved that who saw it at the time, but it takes a while for, like, back then, like, people didn't like, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't a movie star. He was like, are you doing a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Well, that's not, you know, like, that's before he did anything, you know, and I give him all the credit in the world for being governor of California. But, you know, I thought I wanted to be in Aliens really badly. I read the script and I wanted to play Hicks, and Jim cast another actor in the role, and that actor had some personal problems, and Basically, his name was James Remar, and good guy, really, really good guy too. But he had some problems, and I was in LA on a Friday, and Gail Hurd, the producer, called me up, and she said, Michael, is your passport in order? I'm like, yeah, I think so. Why? She said, you want to come to England and play Hicks and Aliens? I thought about it for about a second and said, I'd come on my way. So when I got into Aliens, they had already been shooting a couple of days, and I had a great time here. Not here, but in England. And it was probably the most fun movie I ever had. And yes, we thought it was going to be good, but you never really know. There are a lot of movies around that people think are going to be really good, and they aren't, you know.
I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but I thought Prometheus was going to be good, but not for me.
Well, you know, I get a lot of people who talk to me about Prometheus, and Prometheus, you know, is a beautiful movie to watch, the music and so on and so forth. And I would say that I enjoyed Prometheus. Most of the fans, you know, people just think, you know, like Aliens, and they just think like Terminator. Well, you know, Terminator, the first two were made by Jim Cameron, and you just don't follow Jim. So the third one was, the fourth one, you know, Aliens. After Jim's Aliens, you know, they spent the entire third act of Aliens saving Newt, and then they made the third one, and they killed her off before the movie even started, which Jim, I don't think, was very happy about it. And I wasn't very happy about it either, because I lived too, and I wanted to be part of the franchise, but that's the way things roll. I mean, I got into it on the fluke, and I kind of got out of it on the fluke too.
I mean, it's famously you very smartly got into pay yourself, didn't you, for your likeness in it.
Well, yeah, what happened was that I was doing a movie in Los Angeles with Dino De Laurentiis' daughter, Gabrielle De Laurentiis, and I was doing a movie with Patsy Kensit, and Gabrielle said, I just came back from England, and I was at Pinewood Studios, and I saw you there. And I said, well, what are you talking about? I saw, they did a face mask on me, because they put like these burns on me, so they had my face mask, and they said, well, I saw your character, Hicks, and he was like laying around someplace on a set, and with this chest, and I was like, sorry. I don't like the idea of that. So I called my agent up, and he's a very, very good agent, and he's passed away. Fantastic agent, handled a lot of great people. And we called up Fox and said, like, you know, you shot a scene with Michael Biehn's image, my face, which they're not allowed to do. Nobody owns my face except for me. And so they were like, well, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, we'll pay you a certain amount of money and go away. But I, under no circumstances, ever was, you could have paid me enough, but you couldn't, back then I was living pretty large and had a lot of money and stuff. You couldn't pay me enough to have Hicks go out like that. And so they offered a lot of money, and I just kept saying no to them. And finally, they cut that scene out of the movie, and they paid me also a pretty nice chunk of money just to use a picture of me, and then have them saying that Hicks, you know, died in hypersleep on the way back. So that's that story. And you know, Fox has made a lot of, when it comes to Aliens, it seems to me they've made a lot of poor decisions. And, you know, this new Neil Blomkamp idea seemed like that was going to be kind of fun. And they went into a little pre-production on that, and then they shut that down and originally decided to do Aliens, The Covenant, which I understand is pretty good.
great first half of the film, but
Yeah, but that's terrible when you say like, oh yeah, the first half was good. Well, you know, really, you want the second half to be better than the first half. But he's a great director, and you know, he did the original one, and you know, you have to, you know, I just think him and maybe Neil didn't get along.
I mean, we won't speculate too much on it. It's just, I think that was the frustrating thing, because Neil has such a distinct style. To imagine him reimagining the Aliens universe plus adding Ewan Sigourney back in the mix, I think fans are so excited.
Well, I know they were excited, and also knew it would have been 26 or 27, and you would have gotten like some amazing actress to play Lou, and I thought it was going to be kind of a passing of the torch from Sigourney, who's, you know, my age, you know, we're getting a little old to be running away from aliens, to a new, younger generation of people, and this 26-year-old would kind of take over as the woman heroine of Aliens. But like I said, it went into pre-production. They announced it. They announced Ridley was going to be the executive producer. Sigourney doing it, and then I heard from some special effects houses that they were starting to work on stuff, and then it just stopped. And then Ridley changed the name of the movie he was working on to Aliens the Covenant. Went on to make Aliens the Covenant. And my only involvement is looking on, because I was interested, I looked on like the internet and stuff, but my only true involvement in any of it was one phone call with Neil and said, would you be interested in doing it? And I said yes. And so like, I never even read the script, you know, and because I don't read scripts unless I get offers, you know. So I didn't even read the script.
That's a good stage of your career to be in, if you can get the offers before you get the script.
Yeah, that is.
When you started, like when you did things like Terminator, did you? It's one I love seeing how people react to this. Like, because you have no idea that it's going to become this beloved thing. You have no idea it's going to be something that people say that is the go-to sci-fi of that genre and stuff like that. Like Terminator has been, we've seen the story again and again and again, but not before really. Like, did you know that this was going to be huge? Sort of.
No, I mean, if you think about the Terminator, my agent called me up and they said they want to see you for this movie called Terminator. And I said, okay. Do they have anybody attached? And they said, yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, at that time, Arnold Schwarzenegger was not a movie star. He was a bodybuilder and he had done Conan. And didn't speak very good English. And it was not like, you know, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, or Dustin Hoffman, you know, it was Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I was like, okay, so who's directing it? Jim Cameron. Well, who's Jim Cameron? Well, Jim Cameron is a young guy, and the only thing he's directed was Piranha 3, but he got fired off of it. I was like, okay, who's producing it? Gail Hurd. What she'd done, she hadn't done much at the time, and I said, well, what's it about? Well, it's about this robot that comes through space, that comes through time to grab this woman who works at Bob's Big Boy, and like you come through time too. And I just thought like, oh my God, what a mess. But I read the script and I was intrigued by the script. I went out and I met Jim, and you know, Jim was, you know, an interesting cat. You could tell right away he was an interesting guy, and Gail and they were both very, very passionate about the movie. And then what happened was I said I would do the movie, not thinking that it was going to end up being the, you know, thing that I'm talking about 40 years, 30 years later. Never, you know, never in my wildest dreams. Any movie said I never thought like that. There was no such thing as ComicCons back then anyway. There was nobody to talk to, you know. So anyway, what happened was Arnold Schwarzenegger had done a movie called Conan the Barbarian for Dina. And what happened was his option got picked up to do Conan the Barbarian Part 2. I don't know what they call it. I don't know what the name is. There you go. Listen to this guy. Conan the Destroyer. And so that left, we were in pre-production, that left us this big 3-month period of time that, you know, we didn't have anything to do. So Jim and I hung out a lot. We went out a lot with, like, you know, automatic weapons, and we shot up the town, and not the town, but the countryside. And I spent a lot of time with him and Stan Winston. Stan Winston is the 8-time Academy Award-winning special effects guy. And I was in his, you know, studio, and I saw what they were doing, and I mean, what they were doing was pretty interesting. And, you know, Jim, I could tell at that point, was a very interesting cat and really knew his stuff. He was a great artist and so on and so forth. So we made it, and, you know, like I said, even then, back then, it was not even in the top 20 box office movies. It was a low-budget, $6.5 million movie, and that was not appreciated until people started watching it on their VCRs. And, you know, to this day, you know, I've had 100 children come up to me named Kyle and tell me that they're, you know, they were named after me. And you just never know with a movie. You really never know.
How many people still come to you and shout, what year is it? Do you get that a lot?
No, I don't.
I resisted doing it as soon as
No, I really don't. You know, I get a lot of people that like, you know, come with me if you want to live, or something that people like to, you know, scream at me, you know. And, but I've had a blessed career. I was very lucky to hook up with Jim and Gail, and, you know, we went on to do The Abyss, which was a very, very exciting movie to make. And, you know, that kind of catapulted me into a career where, you know, I was pretty well known. And, you know, Aliens, actually Sigourney was nominated for an Academy Award. No science fiction movie has ever won an Academy Award. She was nominated for an Academy Award for the first time anybody in that kind of a genre, you know, horror movie type, whatever, you know, movie was nominated. And so it was surprising in a lot of ways. It got like 8 or 9 nominations for, you know, sound, visual effects, and so on and so forth. And that's when Jim was just starting to show what he could do. You know? And we've seen what he's done in his career. You know, I mean, he did the Titanic, made more money than any movie had ever made in the history of movies. Waited 10 years to do another movie, and by that time Harry Potter and like all these other movies surpassed what he made. Did Avatar, made more money than any movie in the history of movies. So he's quite a interesting guy to be around, and I would like to work with him again. But I was up for Avatar for a long time. I thought I might be playing the role that Stephen Lang played, but they finally decided they were going to cast Sigourney, and Jim told me that, you know, he said, Michael, I just don't want that, you know, that thing that you had with her with Aliens is so memorable, that kind of you know, where we were, that was so memorable that, like, I just don't, you know, I don't want that to be a part of this movie. So I didn't get the role. Stephen Lang got the role, who was a very good friend of mine, because we've done Tombstone together. And Stephen Lang had been around for a long time, a great actor, and he'd never really gotten a shot. So I was happy it went to him. He was the guy that on Broadway created the, in A Few Good Men, the, you can't handle the truth, you know, and they replaced him, of course, with Jack Nicholson. So, I mean, he'd always had that kind of career, but he created that role on Broadway, and he was a lot of fun to work with, and helped me a lot when we were doing Tombstone.
I mean, that's part of what makes something so good, though, is when you get the right jam of people. Like, that really makes or breaks a project. Is there anyone that you stand out in your career that you go, that was the person I worked best with? Or is it just a different...
Well, my favorite person to work with was Bill Paxton. Bill was bigger than life. We did Lords of Discipline originally. We shot that over in England. And Bill at that time was pretty untrained actor. I was pretty untrained too, but still he was like kind of like, I mean, he'd come into a room and he's just like energy and just like, hey, I'm here, you know, let's go party, let's go to dinner, what's up, like what movie, you know. He was people always say this, but he really was one of a kind. And, you know, I got to work with him in 5 movies, and he is a person that I enjoyed working with because he always made me laugh. And he took his work very seriously, started out as kind of this comedic thing, and ended up doing some very, very good work himself, directing a few movies, and doing a very good job with the directing too. But he made some really good movies where he was not. You know, he was billed in the first movie I did as Wild Bill Paxton, and so I mean he was wild, he was crazy, he was loud, he was like, you know, so he's the guy that I really had the most fun working with, and I had the opportunity to work with for 5 years, and every once in a while in Los Angeles, see him. He lived out in Ojai, which is a ways out, and he was always working, and I was always working, and so it's hard to get together, but he was a lot of fun, and boy, did we have a good time when we were doing things.
Is that your favorite when you work with him? I mean,
yeah, I would say so, because Bill and I lived in Chelsea, which is like, you know, the Beverly Hills of, you know, whatever, and the dollar was really strong back then. And, you know, we just went out and like had a good time. We partied all night, you know, and then we would like, you know, I think they might have picked up that like, could somebody wake up Hicks, because, you know, they saw me on the set sleeping one day. You know, now I was in the script, but there used to be a place called Stringfellows over there, and you know, we were young, you know, late 20s, and just, you know, and they were doing Full Metal Jacket at the same time, so that whole crew and that whole group was here, and there. And so we mixed with the Full Metal Jacket guys a lot, and the thing that's interesting about Full Metal Jacket is when I came over to do Aliens, and they started Aliens, Full Metal Jacket had already been shooting for a couple of months. Jim made Aliens and released Aliens in theaters, and they were still shooting principal photography on Full Metal Jacket, which took a year. Yeah,
notorious.
That's Kubrick. Yeah, it was notorious for like 30, 40 takes and
700 hours of unused footage.
Yes.
Is there any director, just because we're talking about it, is there anyone that you would have or still would love to just work with and just see how they work?
Clint Eastwood. I would love to work with Woody Allen. Woody Allen, I would love to work with, you know. Martin Scorsese, I would love to work with. I mean, I can go down the list.
Yeah,
there's a lot of guys out there that are really, really talented, and you know, if any of them came along, I would do it, because these days, you know, it's not about like, you know, I'm old enough that I went through all my, like, kind of, I never really wanted to be a movie star. I never had like a publicist. I never did any I didn't do any press unless I had to do it for the movie, because I was never on any cover of any magazine. I wanted to be kind of like the Gene Hackman kind of like actor, you know. which turned out okay, but you know, guys like Tom Cruise ended up making a lot more money. But see, I don't understand that either, the Tom Cruises and the Bruce Willises of the world, which they're both very, very, very talented people, but that's all they do is make movies.
Yeah.
I mean, they go from movie to movie to movie to movie, and I don't know when they live their lives. Because, you know, I have 5 children, and I like to spend time with my kids and go to, you know, coach the baseball teams and do all sorts of, you know, stuff with my children. And I like movies. Movies were fun to make, but, you know, life is off the set is, I think, much more fulfilling, you know, of being a father. I have 5 boys, and being a father and, you know, taking my kids out to, whether it was Disneyland or a raid. I do remember taking my kids to a raid. And I sat in the car, and they went in 2 hours in a raid. I watched the movie, a Heath Ledger movie, really good one, about when he was young, and him and a girl in their heroin addicts. Anybody know that movie? Really good movie. You should check it out. Heath Ledger, when he was very young still, I think he was still living.
I'm not going to spend the entire Q&A trying to think of it. I've got to think 10 things I hate about you sticking in my head.
Yeah, well,
just as good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, well, that's the.
When I watched that movie while my kids were in the raid, then they came out and I drove them home. And I was always the dad that took them up to Disneyland or Magic Mountain, and I was always the dad that was the coach of the teams and stuff, if I could, you know, at the time. It's like, you know, I look back and I'm glad that like I made that choice, and although I don't have as much money as I would like to have, and it's still a struggle for me. You know, you know, fame is really fleeting and it's really kind of gross sometimes, and the way that the content is spread out. And I heard there's 350 new scripted pilots this year, and that like anybody can watch anything. You know, Game of Thrones, and I know it's a big hit, and there are a few big hits still, but I don't think they're going to be like movie stars anymore, because there's like so many different places for people to watch, you know, making cakes or feeding crocodiles, or this sitcom, or those other 10 sitcoms, or The Walking Dead, or the, you know, I mean, it's just like there's so much content out there that I think it's going to spread everybody's you know, when I was a kid, there were 3 channels to watch on television, and you know, Archie Bunker came on and everybody watched it. It was a great show and everything, but there weren't 40 other movie shows that were kind of the same.
It's an odd time, because yeah, like you say, there's so much. Like when you have 4 or 5 channels, like someone would you chat to people, you watch that, and that's how you decide it's good. But now, like you say, there's people who are famous in like these little niches that never existed before 5 years ago, and people are now, instead of going, right, let's make this with these people who know it, there's this real emphasis on fame, where they're like, let's get that person to do something they've never done before, and they have all these weird products and stuff like that. And it's a completely different industry.
It is a completely different industry, and it's one that I'm happy. I basically say, you know, it's kind of hard, you know, talk about Bogart and all those people back then, but I basically say, if you take Jack Nicholson, and if you take, take Jack Nicholson and Robert Redford and Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman, and Al Pacino. Don't you take those 5 guys and you watch all their movies, and that was when Hollywood was at its best. It wasn't just a little piece of a conglomerate that was just a cash machine that was doing Terminator 5, Aliens 6, Fast and the Furious Part 7, you know, and, you know, those movies, that acting, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, you know, The Godfathers, that's to me, and maybe I'm just like that old guy, you know, when I was a kid, they used to really make good movies, you know. So I feel a little bit like the grumpy old guy that, like, you know,
It's true. I think things are in cycles. You've seen a big resurgence back to indie filmmaking because of that push away from Hollywood, where the producers, there's just too many people who want their voice in something, and it gets the original image gets so diluted. I think a lot of people now, you see a lot of people trying to self-fund and stuff like that, and there's an exciting sort of resurgence, which I guess when Nicholson and all those guys started, was happening after the collapse of the Hollywood system, where it became a factory.
It's exactly right.
Yeah. So, I mean, Michel Gondry shot a film on his iPhone recently, and just people can do that now.
Yeah, no, I know.
Like you say, though, you don't have that sort of era, like.
And I don't see how. Well, I can tell you a couple of. I don't know how much of the time I have, but I can tell you a couple of interesting things. In that, okay, one of the things is what they're going to start doing in the very near future, if they haven't already started doing it, is they're going to be able to use your image. Like take somebody like Tom Cruise, and you take his face, and they're going to be able to take his face and use it. You know, a computerized person will basically play him in a movie, and he'll rent out his images for different movies.
Yeah.
And so when he goes out and does a movie himself, and it's not just his image doing it, it'll be a big deal.
Yeah.
People say, well, nobody will ever be as good as, like, you know, Tom Cruise, the real Tom Cruise. But, you know, when you think about it, you think about technology, and you think about the little guys on the computers, I would tend to disagree. You know, that there probably are people out there that can do a great job, you know, from an acting standpoint with somebody's image. Another thing that I think that nobody seems to agree with me on is I don't think there's going to be movie theaters around for very much longer, because I don't understand. Everything now is a what do you call it? You got 7 theaters instead of 1. But you know, I mean, it used to be like when you have the ability to watch a movie in front of you, if you're wealthy enough to have a big screen, nice sound system, and you can sit in your living room and you can order the movie, have a couple friends over on the same day that the movie opens, and you compare that to going, Cineplex is the word I was looking for. When you go to a cinema, you know, you get it. It used to be when you go to a movie, it was like this thing, and it was a big screen, it was like Brown's Chinese Theater and the whole deal. But now, I mean, the screens at Cineplex aren't that much bigger than the screens that you have in your house, you know? And so you have to you want to take your son to go see a movie. You have to get in your car, you have to drive to the theater, probably pay for parking, then you have to go stand in line to buy tickets. Sometimes like this, you can buy tickets online or whatever. You stand in line, buy tickets, you go inside, because you're with your kid, you got to pay $5 for 5 cents worth of pop. You got to pay $5 for 5 cents worth of popcorn. Then you go into the theater and you don't really know, like, this theater here could be packed, and you could end up there if you didn't know, you know? And, you know, then you got people with their buzzers and their, you know, like checking their messages and so on and so forth. And it just seems to me it'd be so much easier just to sit and, you know, pay the $25 fee for the day that it comes out, and have a couple of people over, and if you have to stop it and someone needs to use the restroom, stop it. But not everybody agrees. Some people still think that it's really fun to go to these cineplexes, but I find it like, but see, I don't like any movies anymore. I like the little independent movies.
Yeah.
But I just saw Jake Gyllenhaal in a movie where his wife and daughter are killed. You know what movie that is?
No,
Michael, what's his name, plays the cop who's got cancer, and says like, I'm gonna go and get these guys. Jake Gyllenhaal, I'm telling you, man, he was just, I'm sure he'll be nominated for it. Great movie. I don't know the name of it. I just saw it the other night, you know, at home, you know, just, you know, watching it. I don't remember when it came out in theater.
What's that?
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner, of course. You can look at Blade Runner, that's a great one. People talk about 2001 Space Odyssey. I've seen that thing like 5 times. Never understood it. You can't make heads or tails of it, you know. And I mean, I can't think of any other, you know, science fiction movies that I've seen, you know. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That's Steven Spielberg, and that one, you know, I can see how you could argue that's as good or better than Aliens. They're different kind of movies, but I've been very, very lucky to be in some of these, especially 3 movies that have passed down generations, where this little girl was sitting there who's 2, by the time she's 12, will probably her dad, who's, you know, came and I think got a picture from me, will turn her on, let her watch Aliens and the Terminator when she gets to be of age, and you know, I'll be sitting here, you know, 65, and she'll be coming up going like, oh, I love Kyle Reese, you know. It's weird. It's really Jim Cameron's characters that were so well done, and you look at Jim and he's just an amazing person to be able to kind of like know what people want, you know, and what he wants, and just a great man. He's the most exciting man I've been around. Billy Friedkin's also, you know, Billy Friedkin to me made the greatest horror movie ever made, which was The Exorcist. I mean, you find a movie that's as scary as The Exorcist, you know. And I like, you know, that thing is just like crazy. And then I think that he did the best car chase in the history of movies, and The French Connection. So I got to work with Bill. I did 2 movies with Billy Friedkin, with Michael Bay, with like a lot of good people. So I've had a very blessed career, in the right place at the right time, and you know, I also had a kind of a drinking career, which probably curtailed some chance in some roles that my drinking career was. I put it on par with my acting career, you know. So I gave that up 10 years ago. But it was started out as a lot of fun, but ended up as a problem, as it always does with alcohol.
All right, now.
And on that,
we are going to open the floor up for a few questions if you're okay with that. Before I do that, I do have one question for you. Just because I think I do it every day. Do you ever find yourself in your dressing gown and just pretending to do the Carl Reese shotgun bit from Terminator where you play? It's one of the coolest bits. I know, but do you ever just go, my nose looking, I'm gonna do that again? Because it's such a slick, it's such an iconic slick. Just move and bring the shotgun in.
No.
I'd be doing it every day if I was you. It's like, no one's around.
No. I can remember saying to Jim, you know, yeah, well, there's a bunch of stories about that. Let's go ahead and
yeah, that's something. There's a question, and raise your hand and I'll come to you.
First one's always the toughest.
Yeah, everyone's now, we have 2 now. I'm going to go to the gentleman who did this, which is lovely. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, hi Mr. Biehn. Would you mind elaborating a little bit about the wonderful movie that you made with Jim Cameron, The Abyss? I saw the making of that movie, and those were really horrific conditions, I think, to get that one made. Would you say that it was one of the biggest challenges, physically and what have you, in your career?
Well, you know, The Abyss has somehow gotten a history that somehow was so difficult to make this movie, you know. As an actor, I had a blast. You know, we were in these tanks, we were in these suits. I mean, it was, you know, whenever you're working for Jim, you know, you're gonna put in long hours or whatever. But, you know, and I was in the submarine a lot. And I would sit in there while they were setting up shots, and it would take a long time. I'd be in there reading scripts, you know, for like my next, you know, whatever. Whenever you're working with somebody like Jim Cameron, you know, you're thinking like, okay, this is like, you know, you know, I didn't find it difficult at all. There was an article that was written in Rolling Stone magazine, and I think Ed Harris might have had to say a few things about the safety of a situation. And by the way, Jim has made all those movies. I think somebody broke a leg on T2 or whatever, but nobody's ever been like, you know. But, you know, that to me was like, the only thing I didn't like about it was that I played the antagonist in the movie, and Jim wouldn't let me fly back to LA in between like times that I was shooting, so I had to spend, you know, like 2 weeks in Gaffney, South Carolina, and just in case something went wrong and they needed me to come in and somebody got hurt or sick or something like that. I loved it. I loved being underwater, and I can remember there used to be an observation window, okay? And I had a day, and you know, you're underwater, it's tiring, you know, you get there early, get makeup and all that kind of stuff. But I was kind of beat that day, and it's like halfway through shooting, and I walked by the observation window, and this was after we'd wrapped, and there was Jim Cameron, and he was hanging on the line, which basically means we were at 30 feet. So if he was at 30 feet for 12 hours out of the day or 8 hours out of the day, then you have to come up gradually, otherwise you get the bonus. So he was what they call, I think, hanging off the wire or hanging off the rope or whatever. And he had those helmets that we wore, he communicated with us through, but he didn't have the costumes and the gear, and his shoulders got all wrong. And it was really hard for him to wear that helmet, and they were putting padding in and stuff like that. So he was hanging off the line, upside down, to take the pressure of the helmet off, and he was watching a monitor, which turned out to be the next day. I said, Jim, what the fuck? What are you doing? What were you doing? He only had so much time during the day. He was watching dailies. He was watching what he shot yesterday. Because by the time he got home, he had to, you know, get his 6 hours of sleep and be back out. So when you work for somebody like that, it's like being in Patton's army. Yeah, Pat was tough, you know. I worked with George C. Scott too, one of the great thrills of my life, and what a great man he was. But yeah, he's tough, he's demanding, but like I want to be challenged as an actor. I want to be challenged as an actor, and you know, the worst thing I did a movie called K2, and I don't like heights, and that was all about climbing K2. And that was a little bit more difficult for me than that. Now, I had a blast in that, you know, and I had a character in that movie that was so much fun to play. And he was probably the best. Well, Johnny Ringo is the one that people know me for, but he's probably the best antagonist that I've ever played. The only reason that movie and that performance is not better recognized is that the end of The Abyss is not as, in my opinion, is not as good as the first act, second act. And if he would have had a third act that really blew you out of the water, and he would have had an Academy Award, and people would have been nominated, and so on and so forth. But the third act I can remember being at Fox. He heard I was on the lot, and he said, Michael, Jim Cameron's looking for you. He's overcutting, you know, in this movie. So I went over there, and he was trying to make a decision of which ending to use, because he could use a shorter ending, and it would play more times in the theater per day, or per night. The longer version would play like one last time. The studios, of course, wanted shorter, and Jim was, you know, wanted his long one. You've seen the director's cut of it. He wanted the long one, and I walked in, and he showed me both, and he said, "Which one do you like the best?" And I said, "To tell you the truth, Jim, I don't think either one of them is bad." great. Which I don't think he was very happy with me about, you know, because it was his baby. But in reality, the only kind of misstep that I could, and still it's a brilliant movie. First time they ever used CGI. First time in the history of film that they used computer-generated images, which was that alien that comes through. And if you watch CGI now on movies, you see it all the time. That car's CGI, that thing is, that helicopter's CGI, that's CGI, that's CGI. You go back and look at The Abyss, that CGI stands up just as well 25 years ago as the CGI that they do now. And so, some other people might not have enjoyed it. I always enjoy working with Jim. Plus, you know, you have the opportunity of thinking you might be in another great movie, like Aliens, like The Terminator, you know? It's not like going to work for somebody you never, you know, big payday and like Navy SEALs.
Right, we've got time for one last question. This lady, Hannah Hender.
Bonjour, Michael. I could listen to you for hours talking about it. It's interesting. I would like to know what are your next projects with Biehn Productions?
Would you repeat that? I couldn't hear.
Yeah, do you have some projects with Biehn Production in the next future?
Oh, do I have anything in the future? Well, I did a movie called The Victim that I shot in 12 days. I wrote it, did all the pre-production in 12 days, shot it in 12 days. I did a movie called Grindhouse for Quentin Tarantino, and it's all about like Roger Corman, like low-budget movies. And I started, myself and my wife started a company. The first one was called The Victim. We have one called Hidden in the Woods. The Victim, like, I see guys selling it here. I don't have any money from this part of the country, but you know. Anyway, so I'm making smaller movies now, and I'm the head of the company. And I'm not just going to go do some TV show or something like that, away from LA, away from my family. If, like I said, you know, Jim wanted to do something again, or if Woody Allen wanted me out of the blue, which he hasn't, or you know, any great director, you know, came along and said, you know, I've got a part for you. I would have done the Neil Blomkamp movie, you know, the Aliens movie. I would have done that, but just to work for the sake of working. These days, you know, like it's hard work when you're an actor. You know, it's a 12-hour day, which can turn into a 14-hour day very easily, and it's very, very hard work. It's not as glamorous as you might think it is. So,
Unfortunately, as much as I want this to go on for hours, we are running out of time. So, you just got to do one thing. Michael Biehn, everyone!